Communication is all, because they wasn't taught. Y'all wasn't taught certain stuff. Got TikTok, we got social media, so I feel like we just more advanced in emotional maturity. I say that. I say y'all lack emotional maturity and communication. The pink slip on the door. Pink slip. So we gotta move. I'm like, dang. Like all of a sudden you want to come back now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I'm trying to understand it.
Did he tell you why he left though? What up, fam? It's your boy, Mr. I Stay Mad. Welcome to I Stay Mad on Purpose, man, our podcast. We got our first guest with us, man, but we're not going to do the intro just yet. Not just yet. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all know what this podcast is about, man. We try to give you inspiration, motivation, but all about this. We want to know, has life frustrated you enough to where you are curious about your purpose? Have you realized at these frustrated moments that God actually is behind a lot of times to where you are now going to tap into purpose and do some amazing things on this planet? So what we're going to do today is we got our first guest, and we're going to find out if this young man, his life frustrated him enough to where he's curious about his purpose, or he has discovered it, or does he feel like he's along the way? Man, introduce yourself. Tell the folk who you are.
My name is Ford Coin. I'm from East Atlanta. I say Decatur, Georgia, but I was raised in Covington, Georgia, / Conyers, Georgia. I'm a rapper. I cut hair, barber. I'm a full-time college student. Full-time everything, really. I really do it all.
All right, so you do it all, huh?
I really do.
So you said you're from East Atlanta, Decatur area, but you were raised out here in this area. I say out here, so now y'all know where I stay at. We in the crib right now, shoot. All right, but so where you call home though?
Where I call home?
Yeah,
Atlanta.
Atlanta
I call
home?
Atlanta home.
Why? Because nobody know about Conyers or Covington?
Nah. I mean, I was raised in Conyers, so it's like Conyers. I spent most of my life in Conyers, but I'm from East Atlanta, so Decatur.
Now you say you do it all, yes, right? But what's the thing? Do you have a thing that you better at than everything else?
The thing I really say I really love music, and also cutting hair.
All right.
But I feel like the thing is, it has to be cutting hair.
Okay, cutting hair. All right, we're gonna explore how you got to that point, right?
Yes,
so you got family. All y'all from Atlanta area, or y'all, where your folks from?
My mama, she from DeKalb. My stepdad, but it's like he really my father. Mm-hmm. He from Mississippi. He a country
guy.
Yeah, he a country dude.
All right.
My real dad, he from Jamaica, but he lived in New York most of his life, his whole life, for real.
All right.
But most of my family is from DeKalb County.
Yeah, so this y'all stomping grounds out here.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so listen. How old are you again?
I'm 19 years old.
19 years old. You in college?
Yes, sir.
What you studying in college?
Business administration right now.
All right. So how do we know each other? Let's go there real quick. How we know each other?
So I met him through my closest. It's one of my closest homeboys named Jalen Streeter. Get out that boy, Jalen Streeter. One of my closest homeboys. I met him through him.
Right.
Yeah.
Through my nephew. Yeah, man. Yeah. So he pretty much found. Quanah's found, man. Yeah. We as a family we do a lot of things together. So if it's somebody graduating, somebody throwing some type of party or get together, we all there, right? So, so that's how we met, right? And I'm gonna just tell y'all, just for the few years that I feel like I've known him, man, he's definitely an upstanding young man, and I feel like he's asking the right questions. Right. We'll get into that later, but he's asking the right questions because
we'll talk about that later.
We definitely will, because there's a scripture in the Bible in Proverbs where God says like He actually intentionally hides stuff, but kings go search it out, right? And if we consider ourselves kings, right? We got to do that search, right? Yes, so, all right. So, cutting hair, you like music. You at this stage in life where you're in college, you studying business. Mm-hmm. Have you had some frustrated moments in life? Let me ask you that first, because maybe you had a peaches and cream life. Everything was good.
No. I'm not gonna lie. Like everything was good. I'll say last year around November. I was going through. I'm not gonna lie, I was going through this depression where it was like, dang, like I was trying to get out of it, and it was like everything was just hitting me at once. Cause first, I'm gonna just be like 100% vulnerable on this podcast. At first, I get home from college. I'm coming home, you coming home from college. Fall semester finna start back. Right. So I get home, we get the pink slip on the door. Pink slip. So we gotta move. I'm like, dang, what we gonna do? Like, I'm stressed. I'm thinking about, dang, like, what am I gonna do? Like, what is my mama, like, what is my folks gonna do? What is my folks gonna do? So that just left me in a bad place, and I was just thinking about it, and then that just left me in a bad place. And I also lost a close friend, and I feel like that didn't hit me till I came back home. I feel like when I went to college, all that, everything, I got distracted from all that. Like, I got distracted from all that. But I feel like right now, not really, last year around November, I feel like that's when it just hit me.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it just hit me. But I got out of that though.
So we want to explore that because I think a lot of times people don't realize all of us go through some depressive states. Mm-hmm. Whether we go into deep depression, I think sometimes a lot of folk we don't even know. You know, my whole company, the whole brand behind what we do is because I was depressed for about 10 years. What? And stayed in it because I just was angry. I was like, whatever. I was just frustrated. But I was focused though, you know. Focused on doing the wrong thing for quite some time. Focused on doing just staying busy. Then focus on, okay, God, I got to do this your way. Mm-hmm. And then it just started working out. It ain't about me though. So as I think about what you just shared though, you said you went to school, you had lost a close friend, and school was probably so busy that you didn't really think about it.
I was getting caught up. I wasn't really thinking about it for real.
Yeah. So this is my question, and actually for the folk out here too, because I feel like a lot of times we can be so busy doing things, and it be good things. Right. Sometimes it could be the right thing. Sometimes it could be a good thing, but the wrong thing at the time, right? Right. But we so busy that we don't really think about the now. We don't think about the folk who we care about, who maybe we could have given them the flowers before, time passed on. So who was this friend? You don't got to get into a whole lot of detail if you don't want to, but like, what made that relationship close? And then just when you did feel like it started hitting you, how'd you deal with it?
What really made it close, it was me and her. We used to just like, we used to just talk about each other.
Y'all went to school together?
Yeah. Okay. It was like childish stuff. Just talk about each other all the time.
Play brother, play sister type stuff.
Stuff like that. Like that. But when I dealt with it, it was like, dang, I was just seeing like most of the people from my city, like most people, it was just, everybody was just dropping. It was like, it was a black cloud over the city.
Is this the young lady that ended up that got shot or something like that? Yeah. Okay, I remember.
She got shot. She got shot. About that. And when I heard about it, I was at work. I heard about it. I thought it was fake. I thought it was, cause I'm not used to death. This is my first time really experiencing death. Right. So it was like, I heard about it. My sister told me, and I didn't think it was real. And then I seen it. Then when I went to the funeral, that's when I realized, dang, this real life.
So, how did you deal with it when you? Let me talk back to the mic. So when you came back from school, you said it started hitting you. Yeah. And then you realized, like, dang, I ain't never dealt with this.
Yeah, I ain't never dealt with it.
So walk us through what you dealt with, like, how'd you deal with it, how it hit you, and then just, like, how you kind of climbed out of maybe that mindset of depression.
So me, when I'm going through stuff, I don't really like to be around nobody, because that's just what I'm used to. It's like, when I'm going through something, I'd rather just be by myself, and I'll just get through that. I'll just get through it. But I feel like I had my sister Jonna. I had people that I was around. I had my homeboy Kel. I had Jalen. I had people. I had a support group. So I feel like that really made it better for me. Okay. The support group and how I got out of that depression. Yeah. Really, I really had to train my mind to be better than nah, these not your thoughts. Like, nah, these not your thoughts. Right. Like, you can get out of this. I was going to the gym. Mm-hmm. I start journaling. Mm-hmm. I start really writing down everything. That's how I really got out of depression.
Sound like it's been intentional.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from this, right? So when I'm listening to you talk, sometimes just for example, for me, when I realized I was like, oh, well, you probably in a little depression mode. Mm-hmm. I wasn't intentional. Right. Sat there, you know what I mean? Thinking it'll pass over, it'll blow over. Right. Everybody gets stressed out once in a while, right? Right. But it sounds like when you realize, from one, that isolation, God can put people in isolation sometimes it is necessary. But then you realize, and we should realize at some point, that God never wanted us. He said it's not good for man to be alone, so we can't be alone all the time. Right. And you recognize your surroundings, your folk around you. Mm-hmm. But it sounded like you started doing real intentional stuff. Yeah. Started going to the gym, writing down what was bothering you, all these different things, to where you just recognize that I'm there, And the only way I'm gonna get out of there, like you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was really your mindset, alternate mindset.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Depression, I feel like that's like the worst mental disease somebody can get, cause it's like it's you against yourself at this point. It's like just negative thoughts just clouding you. Negative thoughts just clouding you. Just everything just hitting at once. Then boom, hitting at once. And then you'll fall deep. But if you let yourself fall that deep, you gonna fall. You gotta learn how to really get out of that depression. It's gonna take time. But
you're a man of faith, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So when I hear you say this, right, this is what I think. Because depression is so dangerous. Because I do feel like that is like an opening door to where the enemy a lot of times can start just pulling somebody deeper and deeper in darkness. And if we're not intentional, we can go there, stay there, and almost end there, which is the worst case scenario. But when you realize you had your surroundings, and you said you had to change your mind, right?
Change my mind.
It's one of the biggest terms in the Bible sometimes that people get mistaken is the word repent. I grew up thinking it was like ask for forgiveness. No, that's not even what it's up. It's like change your mind, a radical change.
Right.
It's a radical change of mind where unless you do like the steps that you did, or some people who are out there that appear to be very successful in different things, there's a radical mind change, a shift that happens that is intentional. It almost just doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
Like you have to actually want this thing to happen. And that repentant mind is the first message that Jesus talked about when he came out. Like I talk about him a lot because it's like, hey, this cat, he can't die. If he was the one from God, right? Then I want to do it his way. But that was his first thing. Is like repent, change the way you think. And I think it's not even about religion. Right. Like he was telling humans in life, you have to alter your mindset. You have to do such a radical shift. For example, a lot of us grew up. We ain't see a lot of folk wealthy, and I'm coming from Miami, right? Mm-hmm. We moved up to Georgia about 20 years ago.
Yes, sir.
So we moved here, and we were seeing large homes and nice neighborhoods, and we used to seeing that, but with white people there. We wasn't seeing us there. When we came up here, started seeing this, and even our kids, they're like, yo, we can do some things in life. Because it was never drilled in our heads that it's supposed to work for us. Right. And that's part of that radical mindset shift that when Jesus says, like, Father, forgive them for they don't know what they're doing, when he was on the cross, like, I'm looking a little deeper, like, humans, we walk around blind as I don't know what. We don't know what we're doing. We don't even know who we are and what we can do. So here again, just spinning it back to where you said you were very intentional about writing your thoughts down, writing how you felt, getting it from out of here to on something, you know what I'm saying? So what did that do for you, though, when you was doing that in the process of you journaling and writing stuff down? Because you do music. What did that do for you? Was that how you got interested in music, or were you already interested, and then just talk about how that made you feel when you were kind of getting out of that depression, writing stuff down?
I'm not going to lie. I was really doing a lot of projecting. I'll say I was writing down my thoughts. I was thinking like, dang. I was writing down all the stuff I went through because I feel like I really never faced none of the stuff I went through. I was always distracted. I was always working. Okay. I had school. School was in, so it was like I was around people. But I feel like once school let out and life got real. It's gonna get real. Right after school, life gonna get real. But I feel like the music, I've really been doing music. I had an uncle, he go by Uncle Munt. He used to just really write music down for me and literally had me perform it. So I was always around music. My real dad, he had stereos in the crib. Right. My step pops, he had stereos in the crib. Like I was always around music. But I feel like once I start writing down my thoughts, and once I start really writing down, that's when I'm really being intentional about the music. Right. About what I'm putting out.
So you had an interest there already.
Yeah.
All right. So this is part of the show that I do like outside of the show.
Yeah.
I'm an investigator by heart. I was in law enforcement, internal affairs stuff. So I was always looking at internal affairs in workplace. But this one lady brought it to my attention. She was like, LeVar, you literally do internal affairs investigations of people's lives now. It's all about the internal, right?
You do.
So this is what I just heard from you.
Right.
You were surrounded by music. You kind of had that inkling of interest, right? Yeah. But when life started sucking, you started writing. And now you can literally start expounding on the thing that you were already interested in, because now you got something to talk about.
Exactly. And now it's real. Yeah. It's a feeling. Music is a feeling.
Right. So that's frustration, though. Like God let frustrate. Like even you say you came home, you saw the pink slip, the pink thing on the door. Like these are real life events. I don't even like to call them stories because we typically refer to the Bible a lot of times like, oh, you read this story. Y'all, these events, these things happen, right? So when we think about these events or experiences, like you got an experience of, I don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
You got an experience of, dang, I just lost a close friend of mine, and like you said, it was a dark cloud because unfortunately, folk y'all age been dropping. You know what I'm saying? And seeing that experience and then it hits home, and then you almost can't slow down from what it sounds like because you in school and business as usual. And then when you get a chance to sit down, it's like, oh shoot,
I'm facing my thoughts. I'm
right.
facing everything I'm hiding from. It's like I'm facing it now.
Right.
I'm sitting in that room by myself. I was sitting in that room by myself for at least, I say 10 days. I didn't want to be around nobody. Only person that can come to my room was my sister.
Right.
Cause that's the only person I really trusted, like that I could really talk to for real.
When did? Because I'm in the role of a stepdad.
Right.
I call myself that. Me and my son Tyrus, my boy. But when did he come in your life? Like how old were you?
Oh, my stepdad.
Yeah.
That's really my father.
Right.
I really call him my father. He came in my life 6 months. So he really been there.
Oh, so since you was little, you couldn't even hold your neck up still.
Exactly. since I couldn't even cry.
Right.
Yeah.
So he been there.
He been there ever since.
All right, cool. But do you still had a relationship with your biological father? You still had a relationship with him a little bit?
I'm gonna just be real. Me and my dad, my biological father, me and him had the best relationship. I'll say around 2019. I'll say that's when he just really disappeared. I'm like, he just missed his birthday.
How old were you then?
I was around 14. 14. So a lot of stuff I was lacking.
Right. From him. But the father that was in the house, he was still. How did that go? Because see, I've been there. I've been there with my oldest son, yearning for the biological relationship, right? And I heard this on the Pivot the other day. Ryan Clark was talking. I don't know if you ever watched the Pivot podcast, but Ryan was sharing about people was getting on your boy Russell Wilson and Sierra, right? And trying to clown him or whatnot. But like he stepped up to be a father to kids that wasn't, a kid wasn't his. He's like, and he said this. Ryan put this in words really good. As a guy in my role, or guys in my role. You got a kid that you love and care about because you also love and care about the kid's mom, right?
Exactly.
And I got to pour everything into this kid, knowing I may never get it in return.
Right.
And he said, even when you start having your own kids, you almost have to do more because that kid can now be looking like, dang, he had his own kids. Now what's going to happen? And you have to make sure you're so intentional. And when I was hearing him say this, bro, it hit home so hard because that was my thoughts with Tyrell because I was in my son's life when he was 3. About me and my wife got together fully before his 4th birthday. We was dating. And I saw through the progression now because he's 26.
Right.
Pouring, but there was still a yearning for his biological.
Exactly.
Right? And it was like you pour, and you never know if you ever get even an ounce of the love that you're trying to pour into them so they can have a great experience, so they can understand I view you like I view mine. Right. And the funny thing about it is I was in the same situation growing up but didn't know until I was 23. And a lot of folk don't know it. Daddy Green technically is not my biological. But Daddy Green is my biological. Like, I don't, no disrespect to the biological. I met him. But Daddy Green, my daddy. You know what I mean? Right. And that helped me. And this is why I say the frustrating moments in life, these curveballs that God allows. Bro, when I found that out, me and my wife was just dating.
Dang.
So imagine the impact now that I see Tyrell, my son, who technically a step, right? I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna treat Buddy different. Look how Daddy Green did me. So that's why I asked that question, because sometimes those things could play a big part in our life. And like you said, at the age of 14ish is when the biological all of a sudden just, where you at, dog?
Now he was there. I'll say he was there up until 14.
Up until 14. Right, and that's when he got missing.
Like, dang.
So let's start there real quick. Did that cause frustration and pain?
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that. I ain't gonna lie. I was waking up every day. I was mad at the world. I'm not even gonna lie.
Mad. Huh?
I'm still mad at the world.
Huh? Well, you feel? Welcome to the family, bro.
I'm still mad at the world.
Yeah.
It's like now he's trying to come back, and now it's like I'm trying to let him back in, but it's like the same patterns keep repeating.
but you can have boundaries, bro.
Yeah. Right.
So you can. So we believers in Christ. We wholeheartedly, trust Christ, right? He talk about forgiveness a whole lot, and he talk about showing love to folk that sometimes it's hard to love, because he say, what good is it to love somebody that you don't care about? You should love your enemy. I'm not saying your biological is your enemy,
No, you're
but
right.
when we butt heads with some folk, sometimes you like, I don't feel like dealing with this person, and Jesus is like this.
Right.
Good, go deal with them, but you can have boundaries, bro. Like, you don't have to dive all the way back in like that, but we have to make the choice. Let me say it like that. We have to decide, make a decision, one of my little acronyms, to do it God's way. And his way is show folk love because you represent me. Yeah. Like, if we really want to eat on this earth down here and leave no benefits untapped, unpacked,
right?
Like, part of the benefits package is us being obedient to what he said, right? And one of his big calls is love folk. Love the unloved. Like, that's a challenge. You know what I mean? So talk to me about, you said you feel like you're trying to let them back, but you say you've been mad.
I still show some resentment, because it's like, dang, man, like, where you been at, like, this whole time? That's how I feel.
Right.
And it's like, all of a sudden you want to come back now. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I'm trying to understand it. Did
he tell you why he left, though?
And
if we don't want to go here, just let me know.
No, we can go there. He basically said work was beating him up, but I can understand that, because around that time, once I really sat back and really thought about it, like really the bigger picture, I sat back, I thought about it. I was like, around that time, COVID, it was COVID area time, a lot going on, so I could kind of see it from his end, but that's still no excuse. It's still no excuse for real. Like, you can still make time. Time is.
So let me throw this at you.
Can get time back.
I used to be a youth minister, right? And I remember one service we was having, and we talked about real stuff. When I tell you, we went in, and I remember this young cat was telling me, and he said it in front of class because kids was getting on their parents. He was like, "Hey, y'all, let's give our parents a little grace, man. It's their first time raising us."
No, you're right. So
you know what I'm saying? So all of us, like, we going through this experience for the first time.
Right.
And now, granted, no, everybody got to be accountable. We get that, right?
Yeah.
But where's the exact blueprint to do this? And we don't really have a LeVar in every situation do this. We were told somebody would guide us through that, but how many of us really sit still and try to talk to the Holy Spirit to get guidance? Not all the time. That ain't my first go-to with frustration.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I like how you saying it, though, because you said you trying to let him back in. You still got these frustrations. He shared with you his reasons, and then you sat back like, it's reasonable.
It is reasonable.
It don't take the pain away.
You're right.
But it's reasonable.
Right.
So to me, bro, that's actually a huge first step, because you're thinking reasonably.
You're right.
And a lot of folk just think emotionally.
Nah, you're right.
And don't get to that stage, right? So I think y'all gonna be going in the right direction.
Yeah,
So
I feel like I understand his side. My dad, he from Jamaica.
Yeah. So culturally, it's something.
Culturally, it's different.
Okay.
My step pops, my father, he's from Mississippi. My step pops, he ain't had no dad. So he don't really. He had a step pops, but he ain't really have. He was raised in a trauma home, so he ain't really had like a father figure. Like he basically raised by his mama, basically.
Yeah.
My real dad is the same thing. Like my biological father is the same thing. He ain't have a dad, so he don't really know how to. I'll say he really don't know how to raise a kid. So it's really, he was a kid having a kid. He was 14 when he had his first kid.
Right.
My biological father.
Well, so what you gonna do about that?
That's why I break the curse. That's why I do everything intentional. That's why I'm in college. That's why I'm cutting hair. That's why I'm stepping in I'm finding my purpose.
Yeah. On purpose.
On purpose.
Living on purpose. On purpose.
On purpose.
I'm not gonna share the question you hit me with about 2 weeks ago, unless you just want to.
No.
We don't gotta share that.
Nah, we can share it. We can share it.
So what'd you text me? What'd you text me about 2 weeks ago? It was about relationships, and you're like, "How did I stop something?"
Oh, I was saying, how can I control my lust?
Right. So he hit me, bro. I get a text middle of the day. And I love it because he's my catch, man. I feel like, Lord knows, y'all are a blessing to me. All y'all young guys that pull on me with information. So don't ever look like it's just one sided. Like, y'all are a blessing to me, because there's so much information. I feel like God keeps giving me that. I'm like sometimes looking like, dang, who I'm supposed to get this information from? So I love that y'all reach out. So I get this text middle of the workday. Hey, How you control lust, right? How did you stop having sex before you got married? And my truthful answer was I didn't. I got married. You know what I mean? But the thing is, marriage does not quench lust.
Right.
So you have to surrender and work on intentionally self-control, right?
Right.
And it took even years into my marriage to get to that self-control. Never stepped out on my wife, thank God, physically, but I was watching the corn. You can't say it on YouTube. The corn and stuff. I was on the computers watching things I had no business doing, right? And never realized how deep it was, because at the age of 9 is when I found that foolishness. You know what I mean? And no one had to tell me it was wrong. We know as a human what's right and wrong. Right. I share that because a lot of cats I've heard, man, I'm going to get married and I'm going to be good then. You know, I ain't going to want to do it no more. No, that's a lie, dog. Like, you have to be intentional about going to God and asking him to help start the deliverance, help change your mindset. But a lot of times, I feel like God is going to be like, you do it. So remember when the disciples came to Jesus talking about, hey, all these folk out here, I'm looking at you because you're over there, I want to talk to you too. But I'm like, Jesus, the guy's like, hey, the people out here need some food. Right. He's like, you give them something to eat. Right. Do you know God does that to us a lot down here? Like, I have given you the authority to do it. Right. So go do it. Like, we have the power, and you have been using that word consciousness a lot. We've been talking, right?
Nah, you're right, consciousness.
But it goes back to, think about it. Jesus says, I abide in you as you abide in me. Right. The kingdom of God is within you. God says we're made in his image. So that consciousness, that stuff that's in here, that deep thought, that subconscious, man, that is God. That is a portion of him that he literally is living in us. And I love the way this guy explained it. I watched one of his videos the other day, Neville Goddard, an older cat. And he was saying when Jesus was like, Father, I thank you that you hear me. And he said, but you know what's so funny, y'all? Don't you always hear yourself talk? When you pray, don't you hear yourself? He said, and what do you think that means? Because God is in you. So if you can hear yourself, God is hearing you. There is nothing can restrict God from hearing you. Yes, they talk about sin, right? Right. Sin is coming up short. Right. Yes, there are acts that go against his law. But the real rebellion is not doing or living out your purpose in life. So think about what really makes us do that. Distractions. You right. And sin. Like the sin that we think about sin. Because if we're not living on purpose, then we're doing something else. And that's why it's so bad. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's why distractions and just mindlessly scrolling and stuff is so bad. Because God is like, don't you want the abundance? Don't you want to go feed the nations? Don't you want to live different than everybody else? A lot of folks talk about they want to do this and that. But are you going to be the king and go search out the thing? Right. And I feel like that's where you are now, because your questions that you be hitting me with, man, I'm telling you, this cat sends questions.
I ask it sounds
questions. Like you there. You
I ask questions. I'm seeking. Yeah. I believe in God, but I'm trying to build my relationship with God.
Let me fix your words a little bit. You can't build it. He already put everything in place. You're right. You really need to become more aware. Like, so think about it. The houses that we live in, we didn't build them. Right. You came in and you started becoming more aware of the setup. Like, you didn't live here, but you came down and you walked back and forth, you put shoes on, and you realized that we got a step there. You didn't build a house. Oh, really? You just became more aware of, first time I stepped down, dang, there's a step there. So now if I walk back up. Right. Dog, so it's about the level of awareness and sensitivity, God. We cannot build the thing that he says he's made everything from the beginning to the end. So everything is in place. We just don't know how to work this thing yet. Exactly. You know what I mean? Dog, that's all it is. Exactly. You weren't born cutting hair. You had an interest and it started coming easy, but you've been practicing on purpose. Right? So you didn't build cutting hair. You became more aware of how this thing works. So you got better and better at it because of the intentionality. So this is what you really mean. This is 45 talking to, how do you know? 19. I keep making y'all older, y'all. 19.
I'm 19 years old.
Just ask for the sensitivity to his presence. His presence. And be intentional, like you have been, seem like looking for him around you, looking for him in you. Because you don't have to build the thing. Jesus says, I paid the price, I've done it. There's this thing that he talks about, finished works. Okay, so if it's finished, if the house is finished, do I still build? Or do I just decorate? Do I just make it look the way I want it to look now? So he done built it.
Built it.
So now you get to go ahead and put maybe this here, this here. Now structurally, you can't do certain things because the house will fall apart.
Right.
In life, we can't do certain things because we'll fall apart. So those sins, those things that are bad against our body, he's saying, don't do those things because your life, your body, your temple will fall apart. Right. But I gave you free will to do a whole lot. Just don't fight against what I've already done. Make sense?
No, you're right.
So you ain't building it. Learn how to experience and love this thing, bro. Awareness. But please carry on. Go into that thought. You know, you're saying you seeking, you asking, and you.
I'm seeking.
Yeah.
I got baptized last year around August last year, and that was when I was going through that little depression time area, and that's when I really started going to church, and that's when I ain't gonna lie, that's when I really started feeling good. Like I just started feeling better because I felt like that was like a comfort zone. That was like my comfort zone. I feel like. Right after that, I had a breakthrough. I went straight to Tallahassee, and that's why I started growing up, growing up and becoming the man I am right now.
Right. So I like that you say that because I'm gonna just set the record straight for those who may not know. Being a follower of Christ, Christian, is not easy. It's not supposed to be the hardest thing in the world.
Exactly.
But God will allow certain things to happen. You answer your phone. You got to, bro. You know, we live. We gonna keep rolling. But you got to be intentional about this thing because I feel like he treats us like kids. There are times that I do things for my kids just cause. Then there are times that I tell my kids I'll attach their blessing or finances for them because they need some money to a task. If you do this, then I will. And we all get our parenting tactics and our life tactics from God. So what I hear is like, God let you get that comfort zone. You get baptized. You start thinking about it more. He says, "Oh, here's a blessing." I'm like, "Bait, here's a blessing. Here's a breakthrough." Right. Right. But a lot of folk don't realize you went through some breaking to get to the breakthrough.
Nah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
I was in that room for them 10 days. I was in that room.
Right.
Fighting.
And that's the thing that I want. I love the word. Y'all, we gotta fight for this life. Like, get passionate, get frustrated, get mad, but go do something. Go pour your whole self into trying to make sure you get everything out of this life that God gave us. Like, he put us in such a good position, even in such a bad position, because think about it. I always say this to athletes that are born into some kind of money, right? Many of them don't have that dog or that fight like somebody who born into, I got to go play ball to get out of the situation. It's a different level of energy. It's a different level of workout because of the circumstance. So now here's a question then. Because if you ask most of them cats in the league, what circumstance were you born into? Man, I was born into the ghetto, this and that. So was that so bad?
I ain't gonna lie. For me personally, I wasn't born into the ghetto. I wouldn't even say I was born into the ghetto. I'll just say it was a full house. If you ever watch Full House, I'll just say it was a full house. So it was. I couldn't be selfish. I couldn't be stingy. It was here.
There's a lot of y'all to feed.
A lot of us to feed. So I came from humble beginnings. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Humble beginnings.
So, and I get that because with us, like, we military family, so we moved all over the place. But Pops wasn't making like that kind of money in the military. We had a whole household. So it was cool. But what's funny is my kids brought it to my attention. I didn't realize it. So we was in Miami when Pops was retiring from the military. We had went down there like my freshman year. But we'll stay with my auntie. Right. And then sophomore year through my senior year, I was between my uncle's house, my grandma's house. My sister was at my grandma's house for a while. Me and my brother was at my auntie's house. Then my parents finally got home, and but it was so far away from the school, so we would kind of bounce. So my kids were like, "You was homeless." I was like, "No, it wasn't." And they're like, "Y'all didn't have a home. Y'all like for a couple of years, y'all was bouncing." But in my mind then, it was like, it was normal. It's normal. You know, we didn't think about it because everybody going through something. Exactly. You know, I don't think it's until the social media age that we realize there's a lot of differences out there. Exactly. Because you knew was your street or your neighborhood or your block that you stayed on, and everybody was in, for the most part, the same situation. Exactly. So I like the comparison though of being born into a really tough situation. When you look at the people who made it out and their story is attached to, man, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be. Like, if God didn't let me be in that situation. And that's why I say my anchor in our company is don't get so pissed off negatively speaking about the frustrating moments,
Right.
because God could be the very one behind it first and foremost, but it could be the fuel that you need.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So talk to me about that. What if you could label one or two things
Right.
as the fuel behind, like, say, a frustrated moment, and you eventually realize, like, oh, this is pushing me. Do you have one?
My fuel, I really say my mama and my siblings and my pops. Them my three fuels right there.
That's your why. Do they cause frustration in your life? So talk to me about a situation or something that has been going on in life that causes the level of, like, you being mad, you being frustrated, that when you realize, like you gave an example about your biological, when it kind of disappeared, you was like, man, I've been mad and angry about a lot.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't destroy you, though.
Nah, it didn't destroy me. It built me.
And that's what I'm talking about.
It built me.
So moments like that, that most people are like, man, that sucks. I can't believe that. But when you realize, like, dang, this gives me the very energy sometimes that I need to get through some of these tough moments because of that frustration. But your support system and your why, on top of God, of course, is your family. The faces that you see that are familiar, that you care about, right? Yeah. That kind of makes sense?
Yep.
So,
you see this tattoo right here?
What does it say?
This tattoo say, my family's keeper, for them I risk it all. And I got my mama initial and my step pop's initial, my father initial.
I like that.
And I got four girls and it was 4 boys, including me.
So you marked yourself up to say that you obligated to take care of them.
All of them.
So you ain't got time to waste then, right?
Nope. No time to waste. Ever since I got out of high school, I didn't waste no time. Mm-hmm. No time.
All right. So what's going to make you different? Because you cutting hair and you doing music, right? It's a lot of folk out there doing it.
Right.
Do you know what separates you yet?
What separates me?
Or are you still trying to figure that out?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm still trying to figure that out right now. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What's gonna separate me from everybody else? Because everybody do the same stuff. Mm-hmm. But what's gonna separate me?
Remember the conversation we had at Mama Greenhouse? We were talking, and I think I gave the analogy of us putting together a piece of furniture. Remember that when I was talking about if you were the screwdriver and I'm the hammer?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we had screws, and we had this furniture we need to put together. And I got the screws in my hand, and I got my hammer because that was, God made me as a hammer. God made you as a screwdriver. Right. So this furniture is a problem on earth that we're supposed to be fixing. Mm-hmm. And we partnered up. So I'm over here with a screw, and I'm going into the furniture with a hammer. Right. By force, I can force a screw in the furniture. But what am I going to do to the furniture? I'm going to be messing this furniture all up, right? I might be able to eventually put it together, but that thing will be damaged. Yep. But you were made to work perfectly with the screws. And if I would just step back and recognize that, then you would be able to get those screws and use what you're made to do automatically to fix this person, this thing, this situation perfectly with little to no harm. Exactly. Right? Exactly. So that's what you have to figure out. God, what product am I? What am I on earth to solve? Like haircutting and rapping could be something that's going to push you even closer to that, or could be part of what you're made to do, right? But you got to figure out, because that's what's going to separate you. There's a lot of birds out there on the planet. They all have, like, there's so many different species within a species. There are cell phones. They all got some of the same features, but some do something a little different, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to figure out, Lord, what's my little different? You're a human. It's 8.8 billion of us down here. Right? You're a barber. You're a rapper. You're good with your words, your vocabulary, right? All right, Lord, but what's supposed to separate me from everybody? And the only one who really has that answer for you is Him within you, though. Because it's in you already. Right. Because if He's there, then the answer's in there. So a lot of people, I used to say it all the time, go find your purpose. And I remember I really felt like I heard and felt God saying, you sending people on this long journey when all I got to do is look inside. Because I'm there. You're right. You know, so look deep within yourself. Not that we can separate ourselves from God, and nor am I talking about that talk, y'all. But so deep to recognize that the King, the Creator, is living in you, waiting for you to sit down and get some quiet time. Yes, read the Bible. Yes, listen to some sermons. Get scriptures in you. But y'all, there is something to this quiet time. There is something to letting and allowing your imagination to run and to sit there and experience what you're imagining. Right. Like, you should be imagining your life, imagining what it looks like to be, am I my family's keeper? Like, what does that look like for you, dog? Because the only restriction to what that looks like is you. Right. If your imagination can't run so so wild to see that, then maybe you can't be that. But if you can let your imagination run so wild to where you can see yourself doing that, then you can be yourself doing that. But you got to do it before you be it, and before you see it. Make sense?
Yes, sir. That's why you really have to be so delusional to a point where you believe in yourself. You can't care about nobody else. You really got to believe in what you believe in and stand on what you believe in and push whatever you believe in. Because people gonna hate. The world is full of haters.
Yeah,
I realize that the world is full of haters, but most people hate because you bringing out their insecurities. I feel like most people hate because they insecure about something within their self, and they see that you're confident and you finally found what you're here for, your purpose.
And it is frustrating when people, because most of us want that. Let me not say most. There's a lot of people on this planet that wonder there has to be more to life than this.
Exactly.
And no matter your age, y'all can't see him, but his little brother over here. How old are you, little bro? 17. Have you ever wondered, man, this can't be life. It got to be more. You ever thought about that before? I can't see. I ain't got my glasses on. Yeah. Right. At the age of 17, the thought has already showed up like, they got to be more to life than this. And ain't nothing wrong with that thought. Nah. The wrong is if we never go search, if we never go seek, if we never start putting our shoes on and saying, well, I'm going to go figure this thing out, because God put us in that position. So, yes, stand on y'all beliefs, y'all. I'm going to tell you like this, though. The reason why I rock with Christ so much is, why is he almost the sole person that can get everybody arguing? Why is he the sole person that most people mock? You don't hear nobody mocking other world religion leaders. They mock him. Why is he the one who, when you really look at his teachings, what did he say and do wrong? He's been trying to tell us to change the way we think, and told people, I'm modeling what y'all are supposed to be doing. And even when he ascended back to the heavens, he said, y'all supposed to be doing this and more. Like, for real. Like, we're supposed to be doing the death, or the defying acts that most people say that defies physics. We don't care about physics, because God said I can do what I want to do. The thing is, will I dedicate myself? Will I be intentional daily, right? Will I get myself into the mindsets and to understanding that, yeah, you're going to still have some ups and downs.
No,
cool.
You're right.
But the ups and downs, now that we understand, it's going to work for me, though.
I understand it now.
Right. I'm supposed to have ups and downs.
Exactly.
Fine. That ain't gonna do nothing but give me more fuel for my fire.
Exactly.
More lyrics for the
Exactly.
And then even when you talk to your clients, you cutting hair.
Exactly.
Now you
therapy. All that is therapy.
Right.
Music is therapy. When I cut somebody and I can see like their whole face change, that's therapy for me, because I like seeing people happy. Like,
right.
That's always been me. I like seeing people win. I like seeing people happy. I like seeing people be better than how they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my whole character. That's my character.
I'm glad you said that, because you kind of pushing us to kind of our wrap up. We coming from two different age brackets. I'm pretty much twice your age.
Right.
If you could share some information, because you pull from me for a reason, right? You know why you ask questions, why you pull from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like there could be a really big divide in the age gap from people my age or older in y'all folk.
Right.
If you could share some advice to both parties on how we can connect better, what would you say?
I feel like the older generation, more of y'all, the communication, I feel like that's where most older generation people lack in. And really, I feel like the younger
How though?
The communication,
Yeah.
I feel like it's really about where you come from. Because where I'm in the household, my family, my people, I feel like that's the communication is off. Because they wasn't taught. Y'all wasn't taught certain stuff. But I feel like that's where we got all these tools. We got TikTok. We got social media. So I feel like we just more advanced in emotional maturity. I say that. I say y'all lack emotional maturity and communication.
Really? You feel like that? So, because I feel totally different, which is interesting. We have the experience on earth to understand how to maneuver in that. Y'all have been exposed to a whole lot to where y'all are trying to now balance way more information of emotional and intelligence than we ever had to consume at that age. So we had a chance to walk it through slower bites. Imagine we drinking from a water bottle, but somebody got a water hose and forcing it in y'all face. Y'all have so much more that y'all are consuming, right?
Right.
So I do feel like this. I do feel like I agree with this part. We need to communicate better.
Right.
We need to know how to communicate to y'all. Exactly. Because y'all are consuming at a different rate. For example, my youngest son, for the age of 16, about to be 17, very intelligent cat, but he does think he knows he acts like he knows everything. Why? Because he's exposed to a whole lot that feels like everything.
Right.
But nothing can replace life experience but life experience. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to watch something. It's another thing to go through it. No, like somebody can tell you, can't nobody tell you how you felt when you saw that pink slip. You experienced that.
Exactly.
If I was to only watch it on TikTok and I feel their pain but I can't feel what you felt because you went through it. And there's, I think, where the divide is. You're right. We need to all learn how to communicate to each other
as humans,
and we all got to give each other grace because we didn't have the access to information like y'all did, and therefore it's a challenge to communicate to y'all because y'all know a lot more when we were at that age.
Exactly.
So at y'all age of 19, y'all have a plethora of information that y'all are feeding from nonstop, and we had limited information at that age. But here again, I think we should not, as the older folk and the young folk, dismiss where we are as far as maturity, where we are as far as the communication level. So it's not that we don't know how to talk and communicate. We all have to learn how to communicate to each other. You know what I mean?
Different age group.
Right. And it's just different experiences.
Exactly. Back then, I understand because my dad, my stepfather, but he's my father. Mm-hmm. He was a product. I'll say he's a product of his environment. So the way he talked, the way he moved, the way he's an older guy. So he's like, it's that old fashioned, that tough love. That's just him. My mom, she more of like younger a little bit. She's like more softer, but that's a mother. Yeah. That's always a mother though.
But we all can adjust.
Right. You're right.
I used to yell in this house a whole lot prior to me understanding the frustration that God was allowing to build me to be who I am and who I'm going to be and who I can help. Right. So I yelled about a whole lot of foolishness. It wasn't never that serious.
You're right.
And I remember, and this was a tough conversation, so I remember I asked my wife and my niece Ashley.
Right.
And those are two women in my life that I got my mom and my sister, and I love all of them. But if I need a reality check from women, it's them two. And I asked them, I said, hey, can y'all sit down with me? I said, how am I doing? And I might get emotional, I'm trying not to. But it was the most humbling, I heard their hearts of, you really messing the house up, bro. Your anger, your frustration, you come home, like it was messing the house up. Right. And I had to make a decision then. And this is where I say we all can change, no matter how we were raised, no matter what our environment was. I had to make a decision, here again, my selfish claim for the acronym, to make a difference in my own household.
Exactly.
Right? I heard some information, and I didn't like it.
Right.
But I asked for it. I asked for it.
Truth hurts sometimes.
It did. But it hurt enough to where I said, I got to change it up. And I say for the old folk, all of us, y'all and older, and anybody in between and younger generation, for all of us, y'all make a decision to say, I want to know how this person sees life.
Right.
I want to know how this person interprets stuff, because that's where I think we fail at, because some people probably dismiss, they don't know how to talk. They don't know how to communicate with me. And then we might say the same thing. But really what we're saying is, we really do need to understand each other. And we all have to have more grace for each other. And I think we're so dismissive so fast that we just get frustrated. Like, man, forget it.
That's my problem. I'm not going to lie. That is my problem. I'm more, it's like, I'm not really understanding. That's really my problem. But I'm learning to be more understanding of everybody's situation, because everybody really do have their own stuff going on. Like, the world don't revolve around me.
Right. But you can definitely be a pivotal thing that revolves around the world because of who's in you. Right. We're supposed to be the answer. God is the answer. And he says, I put myself in y'all. So everywhere your feet step, the answer showed up. Hey, man, we thank y'all for joining in today with I Stay Mad on Purpose podcast, man. Our first guest, one of my homies, man, I tell you, like another nephew, man. So thank God we met you through Jalen. But I just thank you for wanting to be on here. You actually came to me and was like, "Well, let's do it." So I like let's get an episode shot. like, share, and subscribe. Give people a way to reach out to you. I know you got music out there. You got your page and haircuts.
Yes,
come on, let them know how to find you.
On Instagram, I got 2 Instagrams. It's 4 Blessed Cuts. That's my barber page. But my main page is The Real Forquan. And that's really it. If y'all want a part 2, y'all just hit my DM and let me know, or hit him and let us know. Because we'll do a part 2.
Absolutely.
To finish my story and finish talking about.
Yeah, because we want to know more. Because we also, what we're going to do is find out where you at if it's like 6 months from now. Because he's been very intentional.
Yeah.
And I like that with the questions he's asking and the work he's doing. So we do need to do a follow-up 6 months and maybe even longer after that, because you're supposed to be starting your own podcast one day, right? You said you wanted to.
Yes, sir.
All right,
day.
so maybe you'll have me on that one of these days.
We're going to have I Stay Mad on Purpose, man.
Let's do it, man.
On, man.
Absolutely, man. God bless, man. I appreciate you coming on.
My bad.
You good. Appreciate you coming on, man. All right, fam. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Yes, sir.